You guys ready? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. I'm so glad that you are here. As you said, you see, this is Hot Topics, and how interesting that we're doing this on Hot Topics here in New York. Hot Topics. Wendy ran in New York at 10 a.m. She did Hot Topics. She's now the Hot Topic on this show. The reason I called this Hot Topics is because of Wendy was the Hot Topics person, and she was no longer doing it. And when I spoke to Sherry, who has Wendy's time slot now, Sherry said, I'm not doing Hot Topics, Don, go for it. So Wendy is our Hot Topics this morning, okay? And yeah. So I want to talk about this interview that we did with Wendy, okay? And I just want to sort of give you a behind the scenes. I don't really want to say too much, but I want to give you a behind the scenes of why someone reached out to me. So let me give you the story. So Wendy's niece, backstory. There's a lot going on here. I've been in touch with Wendy's niece and Wendy's sister the entire time because Wendy used to call me and talk to me randomly, and then it all stopped. And I would try to call her old numbers, nothing, the numbers changed. And so she stopped responding. And so her sister and her niece, who is a news reporter in Florida, reached out to me. And then so we started communicating. But Wendy and I go back. I would appear on Wendy's show. She would ask me to do the Hot Topics or Hot Talk panel with her. And so we would do it. And I would go on. And then when Wendy became sick in the beginning, her team, her production team and the production company asked me to fill in for Wendy while she was out sick. And they asked me to do it once. CNN approved. Then they asked me to do it again. CNN said, it's not part of your deal, but we'll let you do it. And then they wanted me to do it on a more permanent basis until she came back, but I was under contract with CNN and I couldn't. And so, when Wendy and I became friendly through her show, and then she and her husband thanked me for filling in. When my sister died, they were very kind to me. Wendy would come on her show when she had a book or a project. And so during COVID, there you see the picture of Wendy and I, and that was my fiance, but husband now. So during COVID, Wendy, and I'm just being honest, Wendy was called me up randomly out of the blue. And she's like, hi, Don, it's Wendy Williams. I'm like, Wendy, why are you calling me? And she opened up to me. She said, I'm by myself. I'm feeling lonely. Her mom had died and she hadn't told the world. No one knew. She said, my mom actually died a few months ago. I can't really recall. And I haven't told anybody. I haven't been able to see her. I've been here alone in New York. She had just gone through a separation. I don't know if the divorce was final yet. And so she was feeling a certain kind of way about it. And I said, this was during COVID. I felt bad for her. I was like, well, Wendy, I'm out here. I have a house in Long Island. There's plenty of room. If you would like to come out, come out. So Wendy came out. So my husband and I, fiance at the time, treated her with kindness. We took her out on our boat. We went for dinner and we went for lunches and we took her around town and she had a great time. That was in 2020. And then in the picture you're looking at now, that's her. We were in a restaurant and she looked Wendy like the Wendy, her old self. There she is with Luann de Lesseps, Countess Luann. We all went on the boat and went to lunch. So she came back a year later for 2021. And again, sort of the same thing. She had gone through a divorce. It was big news. Everything about her husband and all of this, had come out about her husband and the baby and all of this. Okay. But we noticed that Wendy was different, not quite, the way she looked in the documentary. that was on television that eventually came out on, I think it was Lifetime. Not quite like, it wasn't that Wendy, but she looked different. It was weighing heavy on her. So the first time she came out, she opened up to me. She was in the guest room and she called me to come upstairs with her. She's like, Don, come here. I said, okay. So I went upstairs and she laid on the bed. Excuse me. I sat in the chair next to the bed, and Wendy opened up to me about her entire life, her entire divorce, how she got out of her marriage, how she orchestrated the separation with her husband, and the divorce papers and all that. Nothing like too personal about business, so nothing like that. But she said, Don, I had to, when finding out about all these things, I had to come up with a way to separate myself from, what was going on in her marriage and her husband. And she said that, I thought it was interesting to me. She said she was in this facility in Queens, I believe, and that she went to this place for alcoholism or whatever. So that's beyond the point. But she went to this place and she said she didn't feel that she was an alcoholic. She didn't think that she had an issue, and that I think she did it for to be able to. I think she thinks that her husband, pressured her into doing it. And then she said, I realized that I had to get out of this. And she said, so I came up with a plan to separate myself. She said, I put a team together of attorneys or whatever, and financial people. And they were waiting for her at this office building in Midtown. Sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just trying to recall all of it. She said, I was driven back and forth to this sort of halfway house or whatever it was, this facility. And I had someone with me the entire time, always with me. They drove me to work and they drove me back. So she would get out of this place, go to work, do her show. She talked about it on her show. When she said, I'm living in this sort of halfway facility. So she said someone was with her the entire time. So one of the days, she said she was planning her escape or planning her exit. She said they were bringing her home from the show, I believe. And they stopped at a red light. And Wendy said she jumped out of the car. And she ran in Midtown through traffic, and I guess that they couldn't get out. The person couldn't stop her because they couldn't get out of the car. Maybe it was a driver. I'm not sure. And it was a weird thing she said. And Don, the weirdest thing is when I was crossing the street, I ran into Al Roker, and he said, Wendy, what's going on? You're frantic. What's up? And she said she had a small conversation with him, and then she went to either her lawyer or her financial peoples, whatever, and they came up with a plan. And she said she couldn't serve her husband, blah, 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 blah. He liked gifts. The interesting story that she told me is that she served him because he liked getting gifts. The server put the divorce thing in a Balenciaga box, and her husband finally one day came down to the end of the driveway because he wasn't thinking that was a process server, and that's how she served him with the divorce papers. And then she said after that, she was on her own, and it was tough, and she just sat there on the bed. And she shared, the only reason I'm sharing this is because she talked about some of these things in the doc. And so that's how she started sharing with me about how she felt, and that she really didn't have a lot of people to talk to. So that's why I sort of befriended Wendy. I didn't know her that well, but befriended her, and my heart went out to her. Because under all the makeup and the wig and the drag, as she calls it, that was a really kind person. Under that, there was a real human being under that. There are other personal things that I will not share. I will not break her trust, but these are things that that have been discussed mainly in public. And I'll tell you about how I learned a lot from Wendy being on her show. She was a very, very, very gifted talk show host and personality, and no one else could sit in a chair and just talk to herself. And I realized that I had that same quality, and she opened that up to me, and I learned a lot of things that helped me professionally on my show. Okay, we'll get to that after the interview. So I've been wondering, where's my friend Wendy? Where's Wendy? She would call me randomly, didn't hear from her, didn't know, reached out to her family. Her family, would finally I got in touch, and they would keep me abreast of some of the things that were happening, but not sharing too much. And so I saw her family, her sister and her niece. I was still going down to Florida. I went down to Florida a couple of months ago to do a book interview, to do a book fair with the Miami Book Fair. And I met Wanda and Alex in person, her sister and her niece in person. And we talked about Wendy. And, you know, when she gets okay, Don, you'll be able to do an interview with her. Okay. So her niece called me last night. I'm in DC on business, on assignment, speaking at the National Press Club. And her niece called me and said, Don, Wendy wants to speak to you tomorrow morning. Can you do it at 7:30 in the morning? And I said, sure. Okay, how do we do this? And he said, she's speaking to Charlemagne. She wants Charlemagne to go first. I said, that's no problem. I love Charlemagne. It's all great, all good. And so we arranged it for her to call me this morning. And when she didn't call at that time, her niece became really, really nervous about it and thought that maybe they had taken her phone away. And so now I'm going to play the interview. I'll come back on the other side. It's about, I think, 15 minutes long. We're going to come back on the other side and we're going to talk. Here is my interview. Now, I want to know if you think she sounds incapacitated, if you think she sounds like she has dementia, if you think she sounds lucid or together, I'm going to let you assess that. But here is my conversation with Wendy Williams. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Dawn.
Wendy, I miss you.
Dawn, look, my phone is with the Guardian person. You know what I'm saying? This phone that I'm talking on is a phone where I can call you, but you can't call me. I've never heard of a phone like this in my life. Anyway, it's good to talk to you.
It's good to talk to you. They didn't take your phone after this interview you did with Charlemagne, did they?
Listen. Look, my life is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I've been with this Guardian person for 3 years. For 3 years of my life, look, I'm isolated. I feel like I'm in prison. You understand? I can't go out. All I can do is look at the window, and anytime I go out, it's because I'm going out with the person that the Guardian has assigned to me. So if I want to go out, for lunch, you know what I'm saying, then I have got to go with this woman. You know what I'm saying? If I want to go out, like my dad turned 94,
and
February.
You can't go. Wendy, let me ask you this. I heard the interview, and I want to cover some things that didn't happen in the interview. Now, do you remember the last time that you were at the house, and I'm just going to be honest, you took your wig off, and we had a real heart-to-heart, and I was like, here's the real Wendy. And I said, Wendy, would you ever go on without your wig and do a thing with me? You said, no, because this is how people know me. So, Wendy, I want to know what is going on with you. Why do you feel, do you feel desperate now that you're in a desperate situation? What's up?
Well, first of all, about my actual hair, is longer, but it's thin, and that's why I wear wigs, people.
It looks fine. Wendy, I said to you that you were beautiful, and I was like, this is the Wendy that people need to know with your hair down. So talk to me. Okay. What's up?
Okay. Well, what's going on is I've been in this system, like I said, for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm presently right now, I'm in New York at this place, and it's not to say horrible things about older people. It's just that the people that live here are in their 90s and their 80s and their 70s. And I don't know, maybe they're 60 like me. I can't tell. People are in wheelchairs. Some people aren't in wheelchairs, but they walk very. Listen, clearly they are not of my sound mind and body. You understand what I'm saying?
Wendy, are you incapacitated?
Hell fucking no. Look, Alex, please address what has been going on with me. Alex, by the way, has actually been here, right here. She flew from Miami to New York, and she's been right here, and she sees the people. She sees the look.
Okay, Wendy, I'm going to ask you. Slow down. Okay, slow down. You don't believe you're incapacitated. The Guardian has said you're incapacitated permanently and that you have dementia.
Yes, and
frontal aphasia.
You want to know what? Listen, and I don't know how much I can talk without being punished. You know what I'm saying? And I won't be able to see my dad, and I won't be able to, do anything, and I'll be stuck in this prison I'm in for the rest of my life. You understand what I'm saying?
You feel like you're in a prison in an apartment in New York City.
This is is not an apartment. I don't even know what you call this place. Like, I don't even know what you call this place. This is an old age home in New York. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where people, bring you your pills, where people, the door is always, just knock on the door. I tell them, don't just come in here. You understand what I'm saying? And all I have are the things that I have from storage, while my apartment has been sold, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all my clothing, I have a little bit of clothing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a drawer, there's a small closet, there's a big TV that through my money, the Guardian person got me the TV that I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Wendy, let me ask you.
What?
People want to know, how did you end up in this situation? How did this Sabrina Morrissey gain control of you, and how did she become your guardian?
Well, first of all, she's making money from me, you know what I'm saying? And she's supposed to be here to protect me. And this has been going on now for 3 years of my life. Alex, are you listening?
I'm here.
Okay, Alex, please talk, because Don Lemon doesn't understand what I've been going through for the last 3 years of my life. Alex, this is my niece. Please talk.
I know,
okay,
Alex.
Here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing, Don. And I know the question that you asked, and I know that the reason, Wendy, one reason she can't really go in and answer fully is because everything is still so tied up in legal.
Okay.
And so she has to be really careful about what she says. And I get that. We talked about that. She knows that. So there are just certain details because of the legalities of it that she just can't get into. But Wendy, what's going on with you? We've been talking about this as a family. We've been sitting in this for a while. And, I was worried even coming into this interview. I was just on the phone with you, Don, before, because I didn't hear from you at the minute, the time that, we said exactly. And it's like that feeling of, was her phone taken away? Where is she? What's going on?
Yeah.
And if we feel that fear for her as family, I can only imagine what she's going through as she sits in this room day in, day out. She doesn't go out unless it's for an assigned appointment. Doesn't get the proper sunlight, doesn't socialize with friends. She doesn't have the communications that make sense to live in a world that we're in terms of 2025. A landline phone that can only call out, no one can call her, and a TV. I mean, that has been my aunt's life for the last year and a half.
And by the way, Don, I order a breakfast or a lunch or a dinner, and I always eat right here in the bed watching TV. I don't eat with these people on this floor. They are elderly people. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, the people who live here, they're nice people. We always say hi to each other as I order lunch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then I always have it brought back to me, and I eat right here in the bed. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, Wendy.
Alex.
You feel trapped, and you said you feel like you're being imprisoned in this facility. I understand that, Wendy. People are concerned about you. They're worried. They haven't seen you, and the times that they do see you publicly, they worry that you're not the same as you were. This is not the Wendy that we're used to seeing.
Listen. And not only that, I only have like $15. This guardian person is keeping my money trapped, so to speak. She has all of my money. You understand what I'm saying? All of the freedom that I want. You know what I'm saying? And through my money, for instance, I would like to go to Sephora. You know what I'm saying? So what the guardian person does is she will call up Sephora, because that's where I want to go. And then, I'll be able to buy stuff, through my money that this girl, it's a woman, this guardian person. You understand what I'm saying? Do you know my guardian?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Wendy, so where your money is being held, do you still have money in an account somewhere?
Excuse me. No. Look, my money is, I have good money. I worked all of my goddamn life. My thing about being in New York is I want to work in New York until I have enough money and enough of what I've done in New York that is now time to fly and live in Miami for the rest of my life. And that's always what I wanted to do, right, Alex? And it worked out perfectly, you know. I stopped doing my show on TV, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, it's now time to stop because my money is great money, you know what I mean?
I understand that. But people are going to say, well, why does this woman want to, you know, have Wendy in a guardianship? And is she protecting you in some way? Do you believe?
First of all, she's making money off me.
How so?
Alex, can you please talk?
How wait, Wendy? How is she making money off of you?
Well, you know, you're my guardian, so you're making money off of me. You know, like for instance, when I was in Miami there's some legality things that I am not confident to talk so much about. But Alex,
I understand. I've spoken to Alex about this. I want to know, Wendy, you went to Lil Kevin's graduation, right?
Yes, and I got yes, and we had a great time. Although the guardian person, you know what I'm saying? Look, I want to see my dad, you know, for his birthday. And we had a great 9 days in Miami. You know, the family is just, oh my God, we had such a good time. I mean, you know, we went to this party place where the entire family was there, including my dad, you know what I'm saying, where the music was great, you know what I'm saying, where the food was excellent.
How did that come about, Wendy? How did they let you go to see Lil Kevin and your family?
Why? Because I'm the mother, you know, and I gave him a car for graduation, you know what I'm saying? And I saw him, you know, walk across the stage, and I stood up and cheered. What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, how would they let you out if you're in a guardianship and you said that you feel like you're in prison?
You know what? Because I don't even know what the goddamn guardianship is in terms of stuff like that crap. You understand what I'm saying? I've been in this system for 3 years of my fucking life. 3 years of my life. You realize that at any given moment, I guess they will steal my TV, you know what I'm saying? So I can't watch TV, you know what I'm saying? And watch TMZ and see what's going on, and watch you, Don Lemon, while you talk to Rosanna Scotto. You know, just have my friend Rosanna Scotto, who also named in storage, not in storage, but with the guardian person. You understand what I'm saying? Alex,
listen, Wendy, Alex, I understand. Alex and I have spoken, and I just want to make sure that I get this. Go ahead.
No, listen, but I want to speak to my niece, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the three of us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, this is my life, Don. This is my life.
Alex has your back. I mean, Alex is 100%, and we have spoken about how to get help and get people to understand what is going on with you, and that, correct, you want to be with your family. You feel that that's the best place for you to be in Florida, right?
Excuse me, wouldn't you want to be? All right, I'm not going to even ask. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Like I said, I worked in New York all of my life. From the time I was 26, I was 26, and I started WBLS New York, right? I was doing WBLS like a beast. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, you know, TV came along. I was like, oh, TV, all right. Well, radio is my God. You know what I'm saying? I love radio, but TV made more money for me, so I stayed on TV.
Do you want to go back to work, Wendy?
Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? But I don't want to work I don't want to work like 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying? I want to pick and choose what kind of work I want to do, because that's the type of person I am now. You know what I'm saying? I want to pick, and I want to do it. I want to do it in Miami. You know what I'm saying? And I want to pick and choose, because that's the type of person I've become, and that's the type of person I always wanted to be, living in Miami with my family.
What do you want people to know, Wendy, about this? Because I remember I had you on the show, and you started tearing up when I said, "Who is Wendy Williams? Who is Wendy Williams right now?"
Yeah, well, the things that I actually want, I've talked to Alex about. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk to you about that, because what we're doing is we're doing something for the world to you know, I'm talking back and forth with you, Don. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Alex, if you can do a little bit more talking, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. Well, hang on 1 second. Let me just ask another thing. Wendy, are you taking medication for anything? Because if you have dementia, as they say, or if you are incapacitated, they would be giving you some type of medication.
And I think, Alex, well, I just want to say, and I think the medication part, that is very sensitive. And so,
right.
We've talked about that in terms of, having conversations about that, but, just here's where we're at. My aunt clearly wants to talk. She wants to get her messaging out there, but it has become extremely difficult. And she's so careful with what she says because there is this worry, there is this fear that A, she's going to say the wrong thing. B, there might be some sort of retaliation as a result of that. I mean, Don, the tears that I shared with you before this, prior to my aunt calling me, those were real in terms of
I know
what happened just by her moving the line slightly.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, when people are hearing in terms of, my aunt talking about her life, talking about what she wants, but kind of doing her best with that delicate dance is literally because there are things that she just can't talk about. / there are things that she's concerned about talking about because she doesn't know
I totally understand
where that line is,
I totally understand that. And Wendy, look, as I said, Alex has your back. We were on the phone. She was crying before this because she thought that they had taken your phone and she wasn't going to have a chance, wasn't going to have any way to be able to get in touch with you. And that's how, go on. What do you say to that?
I mean, that is a fact. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? If they take my phone, yes, I could probably make a call, from somebody. But then, suddenly, like if I call you, Don, then now these people will have a telephone number to call you back, Don. You don't understand what I'm saying? And I'm not in a good position because this guardian person will make sure that look, my life is screwed up. This guardian mess is, please, look, I am isolated. I feel like I'm in prison. I feel like, they're trying to control me, you know what I'm saying, and everything that I do, you know what I'm saying. If I chew, they don't even, look, my life is screwed up, you know what I'm saying, and the only thing that I can do for myself is I can keep myself of sound mind and body. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what. Like, I love lipstick. You know what I'm saying? So I have lipstick on right now. Why? Because I always have lipstick. It's not a big deal. You understand what I'm saying? Because I all of my clothing is here. Not all of it. Most is in storage. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, Alex? What am I supposed to do?
And you're doing what you can do right now, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
I have to run.
Yeah, you got to get to work, Alex.
Yeah.
Wendy, you can reach out to me anytime. I'm sorry that we were supposed to talk for longer. You were supposed to call earlier, but we were worried when you didn't call. So Wendy, feel free to call back anytime. I've been trying to reach out to you through your family. I spoke to Wanda and Alex, and they love you and they care about you. Final words, Wendy, before we let you go?
I want to talk to you privately behind by myself to talk to you.
Okay. I'm here.
I'm serious. I do.
Okay. Well, we're here to help, and I want you to talk privately, and I'm here to help, Wendy.
Yeah.
I'm only here to help, just so you know. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You take care. You take care of yourself, Wendy. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love you all. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you have it. That's my conversation with Wendy. It was supposed to be a lot longer, but she is in a place where she can't always call. The reason that it was also cut short is that her niece is at work and she had to go on live herself on television. And so there it is. Yeah. So again, and I'll show you as we're going to roll some pictures and I'll again explain. So after Wendy visited me, I think the last time it was in 2021, as I've been telling you guys, she came over during the pandemic and and she came over and we had just the very personal discussion and we sat, as I said, she took her wig off. I didn't tell you guys this. So the second time she came over, she sat not on the couch, at the edge of the couch on the floor and talked to me about her issues and what she wanted to do. And at that time, she was still not back on television. She was not back on television at that time. And she said she wanted her show back and she wanted to go back on TV. She called me the second time. We told her she could come again. We went out to dinner and for drinks and not for drinks. We went to dinner and we went to this restaurant. There's a restaurant in Bridgehampton that is, it's a funny thing. Friday night, there's a gay night. And she said, I want to go. You know, those are my people. And so we went, we had a good time. We sat and then we went to lunch and then we took her out on the boat. That was her in the restaurant that you see right there. That we took her out to lunch. And then we went out on the boat. And I wanted her to have a good time because quite honestly, my heart did go out to her because she seemed lonely. She was going through some things. She was trying to date, all of these things. And then there are some photographs, I'm not sure if we have, of, you know, how I came to know Wendy by filling in on her show, by doing the hot talk panel on her show and then filling in for her. This is me filling in for her when she got sick. I think this was back in 2019. And so it was weird, like hosting for the Wendy show and then them asking me to do it for a longer period of time because I didn't know how long she was going to be on. So I spoke to Howie Mandel. And this funny thing is I was speaking to Howie Mandel then. I was like, can I shake his hand? I know he's a germaphobe. Look how far away he's sitting. And, you know, we had a fantastic discussion. But that was during the 10th anniversary, whatever. So you can figure out the year of the Wendy Williams show. So I believe that was in 2019. And then again, I usually sat on the panel in the hot talk thing. And then I ended up hosting the hot talk panel. And then so after that, we know, you know, Wendy came back for a while and then she ended up going away. And so I did this because I wanted her, and I told, you know, my company did not want me to do this, did not want me to fill in for her. They said, this is not in your contract. This is a completely different network. We're only allowing you to do this because you're friends with Wendy and you want to help her out. So we're going to give you this dispensation to fill in for her on the show. And I did it as much as I could until my company said no, because I wanted to make sure that Wendy kept her spot and that because she had a voice, she was great at what she did. Yes, she was tough. She had said some things, a lot of things about people that they were mad. And look, and when I first came on her show, I did want to go on her show for the first time. And Wendy told her producers to tell me, I know that when I was on the radio, I said a lot of things about people that I didn't mean. That was me with Allie Wentworth and some other folks who were on the show. Oh, the Fox 5 lady. I said a lot of things about people on the radio that, you know, I don't feel that way now. And I mouthed off and I had to fill time and whatever. And I was doing whatever. So she apologizes if she ever, you know, hurt you or whatever, and come on the show. You'll have a good experience. And I did. I went on the show. I came out on Wendy's show. I wrote a book. I came out in the book. Wendy invited me on her show. And then after that, she kept inviting me back time after time after time to make amends for some of the things that she had done or said. Because when I was in Philadelphia, I'm just going to be honest about this whole thing. I was in Philadelphia. I was in the closet. Wendy was in Philadelphia. She had left her position on, I think it's WBLS in New York. I think, you know, reportedly because she had tried to out Puffy Diddy. And so she lost that job and she was in Philadelphia and we were there at the same time. I was the anchor reporter at the NBC station in Philadelphia. And someone said, you know, Wendy Williams is talking about you on the radio and she's telling people that someone spotted you at a gay bar and I forget what it was called, Boys Town or something, I forget. And it was like, yeah, I had gone out. Okay, no big deal. But then I wasn't out then. And so that's when she was saying the things about Don Lemon. That's how she even got to know who I was, because we were both in Philadelphia at the same time. And then we both were in New York, I believe, at the same time. So anyway, that's when she said all the things about me. And then she apologized I was on her show. But so let me just say, I would sit there on Wendy's show and kind of study her. because she was a force. Wendy's a very, very talented person. And when you do radio and when you do what I'm doing now, when you do radio or podcast or streamer, there is no teleprompter. There is no one in your ear saying, do this, do that, say this. There's no one producing a show with elements that you must go to at this point or things that you can rely on if you aren't quite up to it. It's just you. And so she learned that in radio, and I learned that skill now, but I had it before and I didn't realize it. Now that I'm doing this, I realized it even more. But I would sit there and I would study Wendy, and I would say, how can she just sit in that chair and with nothing and just talk? And I realized that it's because she was vulnerable and she was just herself in that chair. And she would sit there, ask herself a question, take a sip of tea, and that would lead her to something else. And the most important parts on the Wendy Williams show that grabbed your attention is when she took that pause, not necessarily when she was speaking. And I learned that. And I took that back to my show. And if you watched me on CNN at night, you knew I would just pause and say, when instead of like people are afraid of when on air, people are afraid of dead air. Wendy wasn't afraid of dead air. She was a radio person. They're afraid of like silence. And so what I realized was that every moment did not have to be filled with something, noise, talking, video, whatever. Sometimes you just take a breath. And I learned that from Wendy Williams. I also learned it too from a little bit earlier when Michael Jackson died and his dad came on live. And I stuck a mic in his face and he wouldn't talk. And I just held the mic there, I shut up. And then he started to talk after a long, awkward period of time. But those moments of silence, especially on my show at night, or when I would take a breath or just go, oh my God. And I would think about what I wanted to say next, or if I wanted to follow the teleprompter or I wanted to go my own way, I had to make my decision in that moment. And not everybody can do that. People are afraid to do that. They have to follow what the producers are saying or what the script is saying, or what the prompter is saying or whatever. But if you're a real anchor, a real person, you don't follow the teleprompter or the producers. You have the producers and the teleprompter follow you. And that's how you know that you're in rhythm and that you're actually the anchor of the show. And you don't need a bunch of guests, a bunch of people around you. That's when people tune in for you, when you're at your most authentic self. And that's why people love to watch Wendy, because Wendy was Wendy on the show. Same thing on the show as she was off of the show. So when she would take that sip of tea and say the tea is hot, or how you doing, and walk out and accept the applause, that's what people loved. They may not have agreed with her. A lot of people hated her because she talked about them. Some of it was true, some of it was not, some of it was rumors, but guess what? You watched her. You watched her. And there is a void now in daytime television. There's no one like Wendy. There's no one, everybody's their own thing. The women of The View, excellent, amazing. Sherry Shepherd, excellent, amazing. These are great talk show hosts. What's her name? Jennifer Hudson, excellent, amazing. Kelly Clarkson, they're great. They're all great. But there's a lane for everybody. Everybody can chart their own way. But there's in daytime talk, Wendy is missing. Wendy is missed. There's a hole. There's no one like her. There's no one that can do the hot topics like her. No one. And with this whole Diddy era that we're in now, can you imagine what Wendy would be like? Can you imagine the folks who would be watching the hot topics? And she would say, I told you so. You may not have liked it. I got fired for it, but I told you so. So look, I just want to give Wendy her flowers, because none of us is perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. I hate it when people say, what happened to Wendy is karma. Karma doesn't work that way. And Wendy said some things that were not so good to me, but I was big enough to say, people do things that are not always right, and you have to forgive them. And I did. And she made it up to me. And I think she did that with a lot of people. But underneath all of that makeup and the boobs and the hair was a real, vulnerable human being that was just trying to lead her life and make a way for her family. She loved her son to pieces. She loved him to death and still does. And so, look, stop saying this is karma for Wendy and that she was a bad person or whatever. And I have more personal things about Wendy that happened and that I know about, but I'm not going to share those things with you. I'm just not, because I don't want to give her confidence. I'll share things that I feel that that are appropriate. But I want to give her flowers. Whatever this moment is, I want to give Wendy her flowers because I think she was just a real human being, and she's a talent, and she is missed. Just as I believe there's only one Oprah, right? There's a lot of folks tried. There's only one Oprah. There's only one Wendy. One. And if you did not recognize her talent, you don't know what talent is. She's a self-made woman. I know that she had issues in her marriage. I know that she had issues with the staff at her show, and there were problems and all that. Everyone knows that. That's all public now. Everybody knows that. But I think that I'll tell you, Wendy said, I think she wouldn't mind if she said that. She played the dumb blonde, but she wasn't dumb. She's not dumb. And I'm not speaking to her. I'm talking about her in the way that she was. I know Wendy's not gone, so don't get me wrong. She played the dumb blonde, but she's smart as a fox. And so she realized in order for her to do the best for that show, personality-wise, and to drive that show and editorial, she had to play and she handed the business part off to her husband. And then so that she could do what she did in front of the camera, which was all-consuming. That was all-consuming. When you're in front of the camera and you walk out in public, it is all-consuming. Like I'm in a hotel. I went down last night to grab my dinner at the hotel restaurant and bar. And half of the restaurant is like, "Hey, Don Lemon." It's just like it's a weird thing, because you're just like, I just want to have dinner. I'm exhausted. I love you guys. I'm not even on TV anymore. Like but it's a weird. Fame is a weird thing, and it's all encompassing and it's all consuming, and it can really fuck with your head if you don't know who you are. And that's why I believe people who are famous isolate themselves many times. And I believe that's why Wendy did, because Wendy was so recognizable, she couldn't go anywhere. And I think that she sort of isolated herself, number one, because she was famous, and number two, because of just what she did. So my last conversation with Wendy was actually not at my house, but the last conversation at my house, when she sat on the floor, she took her wig off and she told me about her life and what she wanted to do, and that she wanted to date. And that how she wanted things to change. I just remember the last moments she had her. I said, "My God, Wendy, you're so regal. You're beautiful. You look like you could be, a politician, a congresswoman, whatever." And I said, "You should why don't you go on TV like that?" She goes, "I would never do that, because this is a Wendy that people usually see. That's what they're used to. So I can't do that." And I just remember her walking down the hall to go up the stairs at my house with her hair in her hand. And I was just like, wow, she's a beautiful person, and she's really troubled. And then she left either that day or I think it was that day or the next morning. The next morning she left. And I just remember waving bye to her. And that was the last time I saw her in person. But she would call me randomly, just out of the blue. And then I think she asked me to facilitate an interview for her for Interview magazine, and she was dating someone, and then it fell off. Didn't hear from her until today. So I want to know what you think. I'm so glad that you guys are watching. I want to know what everyone thinks, because I know people are interested in this, and I want to know what you guys have to say. We had someone on, and producers, do we have Jason? I know that she's going to do an interview.
Not at the moment. We do not. He's
okay. So we had a guest. And a little bit later, I'm going to talk to Charlemagne to see how he feels about this. And I want to know how you feel. Do you think Wendy should be in this guardianship? Do you think that she sounds lucid, coherent, like she has dementia, what do you think? And what do you think, is this the beginning of the Free Wendy movement? And what do you think we should do for Wendy at this moment? That's, look, I don't know what to say. Again, I'm being very vulnerable here. I'm trying to share, and that she needs an advocate. And I don't know, my thing is, why isn't she with her family? And the other thing is, the guardian has not spoken. Is the guardian protecting her from something that we don't know? I don't know. Nobody knows. My glasses are kind of teared up now. I'm going to change because I have like eight pairs of glasses right here so that I can read. I'm going to read some of the comments. So those of you who are watching, if you're not used to watching the Don Lemon Show, everyone is a part of the show. We read the comments of our folks, our members, and our subscribers. You can subscribe. It's free. We're on Don Lemon, the Don Lemon Show on YouTube, and you can become a member of the Don Lemon Show. It's at the top of the chat if you want to, and make sure you hit the thumbs up, please, because it does affect the algorithm. More people get to see us. Now I'm going to read some of the comments, and I want to know if this is part of the new Free Wendy movement, a la Britney Spears. Okay, so let's hear what folks have to say. I will go back. I'm watching the YouTube feed. Any guardianship should be family first, says Michelle Turner. Let her live, share her money with the family, pay them, not strangers. She qualifies for home health aid nurse, once a week check, bank, auto transfer, all of that to pay her bills. Thank you, Nana Pants. I appreciate that. Hashtag Free Wendy. This is Jay Brigham. That's what folks are saying. Do you think she's free? She sounded normal to me, says Winky Campbell. How did she sound to you? How did she sound to you? Wendy is not all there, but she does not need to be caged away, says East. Okay. She should at least be able to be with her family. She should not be alone. I agree. Look, and I'm not saying that's how I feel. I want to know how you feel. This is what we do on the show every day, and people get to talk. She sounds lucid, says Linda Ferker. I do think she sounds lucid. They wouldn't talk about the medication part. There are things that she couldn't talk about legally. I understand that. She sounds good. She needs a good lawyer. Thank you for that comment. Free Wendy. But do you think in the interview with Charlemagne said that she could be on the radio right now. Someone says she sounds like herself. She should have released to live for herself. She should have be released to live for herself. Now, Charlemagne says it sounds like she should be on a radio. She could do a podcast now. I think maybe with a partner, perhaps. I don't know. Don, she needs help, says one person. She should be with her family. Now, let me just say this. In all honesty, you guys want my honest assessment. This is my assessment. Hold the comment that's up there, okay? This is my assessment. Does Wendy sound like the Wendy Williams back in the day when I was on her program? Does she? No, she doesn't. Does Wendy Williams sound like the Wendy Williams that visited me at my house and they would call me randomly? No. Does Wendy Williams sound lucid to me? Yes. Does Wendy Williams sound like she has dementia? No. Does she sound like she has aphasia or any of that stuff, or that she's incapacitated? No. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a mental health expert. I can carry on a conversation with Wendy. She can recall details from times that we spent together. She did it in the Charlemagne interview. I'm not as sharp as I was back in the day when I was on Wendy's show or when during COVID or whatever. You know, we get to be, things happen, you age, whatever, that happens. That's a normal process of life. But do I think that she sounds incapacitated? No, I mean, can she be in control of her own funds and all of that? I think there are ways that you can work with her to make sure that she is being financially smart and savvy, and a way to take care of her, to make sure that she is a way to handle this, to make sure that she is taken care of financially for the rest of her life. I don't know if she needs to be in a facility. I don't know. I don't know what her issues are. I don't know about addiction issues, reportedly, allegedly. I don't know about those things now. I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. In this moment, I'm not there. I only spoke to her this morning, but she sounds lucid. And so, and the thing is that if you are isolated and you're not around people that you love or care about you, who have, you know, a personal affection or affinity for you, then it messes with your head. And I think everyone deserves to be with the people they love. So I think that they should be able to work that out, or at least to be near somehow. Unless there is, does the guardian think that her family's a bad influence? I don't know. So that's it, everyone. Thank you, MZ Pepper, for supporting independent media. Thank you, Don, for giving Wendy a voice on your platform. I do. And the reason I wanted to, if it felt like I was leading Wendy along, I thought that she was going off. She was rambling a little, but I did. And I knew that I only had a certain amount of time with her because her niece had to get to work. She had to do a live show. The world is here for you, Wendy. We love you and we want the best for you, says Kenneth Shernick. And Kenneth, thank you so much for supporting independent media. Thank you for your comment. Simi says, congratulations for the, that's a whole different thing about our subscribers. Thank you for that. I just finished watching her interview on The Breakfast Club and I was in tears. Her guardian is no good. Release Auntie Wendy. I don't want to say any disparaging things about the guardian because the guardian has not spoken, and we will reach out to the guardian, and I want to comment from the guardian. And so I don't want to disparage anyone without hearing their side. But Wendy has certainly spoken out. You heard it more so in the Charlemagne interview. She does not like this guardianship. She does not like it. She does not like it. The family doesn't like it. They have said as much. She sounds about 90% there. There has to be a balance between looking out for her best interest and also giving her some autonomy. Perfectly said, Kenneth. And again, thank you for your support of independent media. She sounds lucid and coherent with the support of her family. Even if she has early stage dementia, she can make business and health decisions for herself. Thank you, Ivy. Yeah, I think that there's a way that they can work this out where Wendy can be with her family. Guardianships are creepy in general. No one should be in one, in my opinion. There are better ways to help people in need. That's according to May Money. Thank you. She should be free to live her life with her family. Absolutely, Miss B. I agree with you. Don, this is so heartbreaking. We need to make some noise. No, this is not right. This is not fair. Okay, so you guys believe that, then free Wendy. This is going to be the free Wendy movement, the same as Britney Spears. Maybe Britney Spears' family and folks realize that let Britney dance if she so chooses. Hamilton, a lot of people feel the same. Hamilton says, I love Wendy with all my heart. She needs to be with her family, says Winky Campbell. And so maybe just let Wendy be Wendy. Because nobody's here forever. No day is promised. She says that she has money and she worked her entire life. That's what she said. You heard her in the interview when I asked her. So if Wendy has money and she has resources, then, you know, Let her live. Let her live. Free Wendy, according to folks. So anyway, everyone, that's what I have to say. I would love to talk to you guys more. We had some guests signed up, but one of the guests we had signed up, I believe, is doing I'll just be honest with you. Jason Lee was on the line a bit ago and was going to talk to us because he is, I believe, going to speak to Wendy as well. She's going to call him. The concern is, though, from her niece and from her family is that because she is speaking out, that they're going to take her phone away. And then she won't be able to... they won't have any contact with her. They won't have any way to be in contact with her. I reached out to Charlemagne this morning. I'm going to call Charlemagne after this, and we're going to speak to see if there's anything to do. I don't know. What do y'all think? This is, and if I can just say, it's interesting to me that in certain quarters, people are like, Wendy Williams, I have no idea who that is. Where have you been? Wendy is it shows you, especially now in this moment of independent media, that there are niches and there are audiences that many people are not aware of and they're not taking advantage of. That they're not allowing, especially because Wendy was the urban voice. Everybody watched Wendy. New Jersey housewives watched Wendy. The urban voice. Many times folks who are, especially people of color, are sort of put into this niche, ghettoized, like they're the voices of color, urban voices, yada, yada, yada. And companies like, we want people that are middle of the road and not controversial, and we don't want to offend our advertisers and whatever. You guys need to get over that shit. Look at how many people care about Wendy. Watch this Free Wendy thing. Watch where it goes. And be honest. Tell me you don't miss Wendy Williams on television. Again, that's not to say anything bad or disparaging. I'm not giving shade to any talk show host. And don't think that I'm giving shade to Sherry, who's now in Wendy's spot. No. Our former spot has her time slot in her studio. No, Sherry's doing a fantastic job. Sherry's also a dear friend. They are different people. But no one I'm talking about out of everybody, there's only one Wendy Williams. There's only one Don Lemon. There's only one Oprah. I'm putting myself in that category. Yeah, because I think I'm unique in that aspect. Not that I'm Oprah. I'm not as famous as Oprah. Not at all. Oprah's the queen. Wendy is the queen in her own right. I'm not saying that. But there, certain people have certain talents and they are put in positions where they were meant to be. I think that I'm one of those people that this is what I was meant to be doing. I was meant to be doing television. That's what I meant to do. Some people are great attorneys. Some people are great football players, great athletes. Wendy's a talker. And I believe the epitome of a talk show host, and controversial and provocative. And the audience loved her. When you were in her studio, it was on fire. Energy. When they said, here's Wendy, and those double doors opened, people like the people in the audience, women and men, their heads would pop up like, oh my God, it's Wendy. And she'd calm them down. Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics. No, so this is the Hot Topic show. I took that from Wendy. I'm in a hotel room because I'm on assignment. When I do my show from my studio and at the office or my studio in my home, I have a Wendy Williams mug because this Hot Topic show was born from Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams took Hot Topics from The View. There's nothing new under the sun, everyone. Nothing is new under the sun. So folks are saying, please help Wendy to the best of your abilities. How does this all start? What do people do? How you doing? Was Wendy Williams. How you doing? Was Wendy Williams. And folks are like, because I would, sometimes I would say, how you doing? And they go, Don, why are you doing that? It's not professional. It's not whatever. I'm like, come on, give me a break. Stop being so uptight. People are sick of the uptight. She's coming back in God's grace, says someone. What can we do, says someone. She was a queen tea maker. Wendy was the blueprint. Yes, she paved her own way. She did. Let us know what we can do. Everyone wants to know. Hashtag free Wendy. Look, I'm not on some of the social media sites. I wonder if it's trending. I wonder what's going on. Free Wendy. I think I have to get out of here. What time is my next appointment, Nikki? I still have a little bit, right?
Depends on how far you are from the studio.
Okay, so I'm going on the Jen Psaki show. She has a podcast, and I think they start taping in a bit, but I'm going to hang on just a little bit to talk to you guys. So that's my my Wendy story. And for those of you who are new to us, this is what we do every single day. We do the hot topics. And again, you guys think I'm just giving Wendy her flowers. Me doing the hot topics is also giving Wendy her flowers. Every single day, we talk about every single issue, from politics to Diddy to now Wendy to whatever. That's what we do on the Hot Topic show. I have a show every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do it every single day. 5 p.m. Eastern, we were live. That was our original show, Lemon Live at 5. And then I realized, like, hey, guess what? No one is doing hot topics. I asked Sherry. Sherry says, I don't do hot topics. Don, go for it. Take it away. I do hot topics now because no one was doing hot topics, and I thought there was a void for it. And I thought, like, someone should do a hot topic show. People are afraid now. Too controversial. Someone should do a hot topic show on television. There should be a hot topics show. And I don't mean just like the women sitting around the view. They do their own thing. But I mean someone doing it in the way that Wendy did it, the way that we do it here on the Don Lemon Show, on our Hot Topics program. So I said, I want to do things that are lighter, more pop culture based, more in the zeitgeist, not just politics, not just covering Trump all the time. And the election, we were doing a lot of Kamala Harris, Trump, election, blah, blah, blah. And so we started Hot Topics. And guess what? That Hot Topic show that we do now that you're watching gets more engagement than almost anything that we do. Gets more engagement now than even the Lemon Live at 5. Because there is a vacuum, there's a void for people wanting to start their day with not such intense news, but also not somebody selling a product. Oh, my movie opens on this, and then my book, and blah. They want, let's talk about some things. Wait, what? What happened with such and such? Where's the Diddy case going? You know what I'm working on next? I'm trying to get, I want to do ASAP Rocky. The trial starts next week. I want to get away from doing so much politics. People need a break. Black women are saying, I need a timeout. And I'm with y'all. So I want to know what is happening with this ASAP Rocky trial that is starting in Los Angeles next week. I want to know. I want to talk to the attorney. I want to talk to him. That's what I want to start doing, more things like that. And I think that we all need it. Okay. But listen, you can become a member. If you become a member, there are things that you get some preferences and some things and private streams where we really talk about things. You get exclusive access to content and material that you don't get if you're just the random watcher who drops by, or even if you're just a free subscriber. Subscriptions are free. Memberships you can join. They're not that expensive, but you get exclusive content. And you get private streams, me at my home, where we talk about, and you get to be, if you become our highest tier member, you get to be on this program. Your face is on the screen, your comments, we interview you, you interview me, you challenge me, but that's only for our top tier members. Everybody else doesn't get those private streams. We did a private stream last Sunday or Saturday, I believe, and I did karaoke. And guess what? People loved it. So I got to get to my other thing. I'm sorry to leave so many people on the table who are watching us. But make sure you go to YouTube, The Don Lemon Show, subscribe to our channel. Check out my social. We're on every single platform. You're on YouTube. I'm live on TikTok now. I'm live on Instagram now. I'm live on Facebook now. Obviously live on YouTube. And the show airs on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And our reach is growing. So thanks, everyone. So here's the deal. My schedule is crazy. I will try to do a live 5:00 show today, but my flight is scheduled to go back to New York. But I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out a way to do a live show for you today, because I think we need to talk about this, because there's going to be folks are going to want to know about this. So make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation and our channel, and it's really important. Independent media right now, let me stress to you, it's really important, because we are free to say what we want without corporate influence. You also have a say. You get to discuss. You don't just get to sit around and watch people on television talk to you. You get to be a part of it. So support independent media. And I'll see you live at 5 p.m. today. Look out for clips of the show on social and on our YouTube channel as well. Bye, Wendy. Thanks for doing the interview. And we're all looking out for you. And folks want free Wendy right now. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.